Samach Amud Beis, right at the top of the Amud. If a person enters a basic kisa, he says, give cover to yourselves, you, the servants of the Rebbeinu Shalom. To cover l'kei Yisrael, give cover to Hashem. Harpu mimeni, release me, depart from me, until I perform my obligations, and then I will return to you. Meaning it's not befitting for the malachim, these are addressing the malachim that accompany a person. It's not fitting for the malachim who accompany the person to enter the basic kisei. But Abai Amar says, no, he should not say this. Why this? Because maybe they'll leave him completely. Rather he should say, Shimruni, Izruni, guard me, help me, Simchuni, Himtinuli, help me and wait for me, until I enter and leave. Shekain Dargan Shebnei Adam. This is the nature of people of Bnei Adam. Kinofek, after he leaves the basic kisa, he says, Baruch Hasher, he says, Baruch Hashem Ken Melech Hasher Yatzares Adam B'Chachma, that you created Adam B'Chachma. You created the creation of the human being is full of Chachma. It's a wondrous thing, as we'll see in the Brach itself. We'll detail some of the ployim, the pili ployim, the wondrous things of the human creation. But Tosfos bring down the pshat is that this is really an introduction, besides from a description of the goof of the Adam. It's the creation itself was done in a chachmendik way. That prior to the person, to Adam being created, his needs were created first. But he would need his food, his sustenance. The world was created as a world that was created that would be able to sustain him and support him prior to his creation. So the creation of the Adam, the Yetzirah of the Adam, was bechachma. So what are some of these wondrous things? There's holes in the body. There's cavities. So there's different holes. There's different nostrils, etc. There's cavities. There's like the lungs, that spaces that are hollow inside, filled with air. And is known before you, Hashem, before your kisei kavod. If one of them opens, something that is supposed to be closed is open, it has a hole in it. One that is now has an opening is closed. We won't be able to exist and stand before you. What's the chasim at the end of the bracha? You make the bracha of Raifei Chaylim. You're making everybody into sick people by saying that way. You should say that he's Roife Chol Basar. He doesn't say that Roife Cholim, he says Roife Chol Basar. Roife Chol Basar, the basic kisei itself, that is a refuah for Adam. I mean, it's not necessarily that people are cholim, but there is refuahs that the natural order of the person's life, his existence, has built in refuah's processes that cleanse the body and are healing and assistance and aids, are healthful, beneficial aids to the body. Rav Sheshes Amar Mafli Lasis. Rav Sheshes says the Chasima rather is Mafli Lasis, that Hashem does wondrous things. Therefore, we should incorporate both of these items, both of these thoughts into the bracha, and the chasima should be roife kol bosar umafli lasais, incorporating both of these ideas. If a person goes to sleep on his bed, he should say the following. Mishma Yisrael avad v'hayim shemoya. He should say the first parasha of Shema, from Shah until Vayam Shemoya. And he says the bracha, Baruch HaMapil Chevlei Sheina Aleinai, that the Rebbeinu Shalom puts the rope, the bonds of sleep on my eyes, Utsunuma Alaf Apayim, and deep sleep on my eyelids, Umeir Ishan Basayim. And he makes the pupil of the eye, he is merit, he illuminates it. You should be Ratzon Hashem that you put me to sleep in peace. and give my chelik, my portion. I should be zoicha to my portion in the Torah. V'sargilenu l'dvei mitzvah, and you should make me accustomed to do your mitzvahs. V'al targilenu l'dei avera, and not towards avera. V'al tevenu l'dei chet, and I should not come to a chet v'leidei oven v'leidei nisoyin, and not to any kind of test, not to nisoyin, v'leidei bizoyin, and not to any busha. V'yishla b'yetzer tov, and the yetzer tov should be ruling over me. V'al yishla b'yetzer hara, and the yetzer hara should not rule over me. V'tzitzilenu mi pegara mechalim roim, and you should save me from any type of bad occurrences, any type of sicknesses, bad sicknesses. V'aya v'luni chalamois, and I should not be frightened and confused by chalamois roim v'yerhurim roim. And my bed should be complete before you. Now Rashi explains that means that from all of his persons from his offsprings, there should be no one that's a chayte. And you should awake me and not let me die in sleep. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem, who's mayor, he lights up the whole world with his glory. When a person wakes up from sleeping, he should say the following: The neshama that you placed in me is pure. You created it within me, and you breathed it into me, and you protected it within me. And you're eventually going to take it from me, but return it to me, and as long as the neshama is within me, as long as it's within me, I give praise to you, Master of the universe. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem, that you return the neshama lifkarim mesim, to dead bodies. And you turn the neshama to a body that's dead. Kishama kol tarnas, so a person wakes up in the morning, so this is the berachas shachar that he has to make. Kishama kol tarna gola, when he hears the rooster, when he hears the sound of the rooster, he makes the following baruch lema baruch asher nosen lasech v'vina lahavri benyam v'layla. He makes a bracha, but Rebbeinu Shalom gave the sechvi, he gave the rooster the understanding to understand between day and night. What is the significance of that? That he gave the rooster understanding to distinguish between day and night, and we are giving Shevach Rebbeinu Shalom that different explanations. One is that he gave understanding. He gave understanding in the world, and we have understanding. We can distinguish between day and night. This is mashma that we give Shevach Haidach for the light, that the rooster, he distinguishes between the night and day. And we, therefore, and he gets hanoah from the light, and we give thanks to Hashem that there is this creation of light that we can get hanoah from. So that's not davka to the rooster, it's the rooster is able to distinguish between the early rays of the morning, the early light of the morning, and we give thanks to Hashem on understanding for the light that we get hanoah from. When he opens his house, he should say, that you give sight to the blind. We're able to see. When he straightens up and sits up, he should say, when he said bracha to Hashem, that's matir, so those that are tied up, he unties those that are tied up. When he's sleeping, a person can't sit up. Now he's awake, he's able to sit up. When he starts to put clothes on, he says, that Hashem gives us clothes to clothe ourselves. When he gets up, when he stands up, he should say, that he lets us stand upright. When he puts his feet on the floor, should say, that he puts the earth on the waters, meaning he lets something solid to have a firm foundation, that the waters now have receded, there's a land, there's earth on the water. So here also we're able to put our feet down and we have a foundation that we can stand on. Ki maske, when he starts to walk, lema borach amech misarigaver, he directs the person's footsteps and he makes them firm. Ki saimesane, when he puts on his shoes, he should say borach shasle kol tzorki. That person doesn't have to go barefoot. It's a disgrace and a discomfort to go barefoot, so he gives Shev Chaydoah that he has shoes. Ki osra ma'ina lemu, when he puts on his belt, he should say borach oizer b'gvura, that he puts a belt on Yisrael, oizer Yisrael b'gvura, and we're able to tie ourselves that with strength. Oizer Yisrael b'gvura. Now it's interesting here, he says specifically Yisrael in the next bracha as well, Kippur Sudra, when he puts a Sudra, a turban on his head, and Taisa says it doesn't mean dafka a turban when he's covering on his head, then Al Reisha, Kippur Sudra, Al Reisha, Lema, Baruch Oiter Yisrael b'sifor. The same type of bracha that he says that he crowns Yisrael also with koved. And here, in both of these brachas, it says Yisrael, even though these are articles of clothing that anybody could have. The Muslim also, that they also have belts, they also have hats, etc. But the hat and the belt of Yisrael has more significance. It has not only significance in that it covers his head, and it is able to fasten something around his belt for his clothing. As opposed to when he puts on his first clothing and puts on his shoes, when he says Malbish Arumim and he says Roske Kortsarki, then when he says these brachas, he doesn't say Yisrael. But over here it's specific to Yisrael because the tying of the belt, he can now say brachas. He can daven without a separation between the upper and lower body. He can't say brachas. He can't daven. He can't learn. He puts on a hat. He puts on a yarmulke. He puts on a covering on his head. He gives him Yiras Shamayim. So specifically that he crowns Yisrael. He crowns Yisrael, or that he's Oiter Yisrael, that they have, in addition to that, it's an article of clothing that looks nice, that covers themselves, but it has a ruchnistic component as well. Kimisata b'tzitzis, when he puts on the tzitzis, lema borach asher kishan v'tzayis v'analisata b'tzitzis, that you gave us a mitzvah to wrap ourselves in tzitzis. Kimanach tefillin adare, when he puts tefillin on his arm, he should say lema borach asher kishan v'tzayis v'tzivonol aniach tefillin. Areisha, when he puts it on his head, he should say asher kishan v'tzayis v'tzivonol mitzvahs tefillin. Kimash Yade, when he washes his hands in the morning, he says Baruch Asher Kiddushana b'mitzvaysa v'tzivana on the Til Sidain. Kimash Ape, when he washes his face in the morning, this person should wash his face. He says Baruch Hama Berchev Leishena Me'ena Yisnuma V'Hapai, that he removes what that was tied up, the bonds of sleep. He removes it from my eyes and the deep sleep from my eyelids. That Hashem, that you should accustom me to learn Torah, and you should connect me, attach me to your Torah. Should not let me come to not mistakes, not to averas, and not to averas, and not to any kind of tests or embarrassment. And you should force my Yetzer Hora to be subservient to you. And you should distance me from a bad influence of bad people or bad neighbors. And you should attach me to good influences, good friends, good neighbors in this world. And you should give me today and every day that I should have mercy, find mercy in the hands of all who see me. And you should bestow on me kindness. Baruch Hashem that Baruch Hashem, that he bestows kindness, chesed, on Klal Yisrael. A person has to make a bracha on. He makes a bracha on the taiva l'ra, just like he makes a bracha on the taiva. As he makes a bracha on good, he makes it on bad. So what does that mean? Do you think it means that he makes the same bracha? That just like a bracha for good tidings, he makes a taiva meitiv for bad tidings, he has to make the same bracha, he makes a taiva meitiv? I vatanan al besuras toives emerat toiva metiv al besuras rois emer baruch daino emes. We see that's not so for besuras rois. It's daino emes, not a toiva metiv. Ela what's the pshat? Amarava loy nisrach el kabula besimcha. It doesn't mean that the bracha, the nusach of the bracha, it doesn't mean that the words of the bracha is the same. It means that the attitude of the bracha, the way we make the bracha, is in the same way. Just like a good tidings, may we do it besimcha, with gladness, with happiness, so too on Besuras Royas. Amar Ravacha Mishum Rabbi Levi Mikro. Where do we see this concept in the pasuk? The pasuk says Chesed u'mishpat asher lecha Hashem azamer. It says Chesed u'mishpat. So what's Chesed u'mishpat? Chesed is a Chesed of kindness. Im Chesed asher. If you show me a Chesed, I'll give a shira. I'll give a song to you. I'll praise you. The mishpat ashira, and even if it's justice, it's a mishpat, it's a din, I also will give a shira to you, a song to you. Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani Omer Mehachi says from the following pasuk, B'Hashem ahal davar, B'Elokim ahal davar. It's by Hashem I'll praise, and Elokim by Hashem ahal davar is a midah tova. The Hashem is a midah tova, midas rachamim. So if Hashem, it's a midah of Hashem, which is rachamim, then I will praise Hashem. Ve'elakim ahalodavar is midas puranas. Elakim is din, and if it's judgment, if it's puranas still, then I still will praise Hashem. I'll still ahalo. Rabbi Tanchum Rabbi Hachi says from the following pasuk: Yeshua says so v'shem Hashem ekro. Sar v'yagan emsa v'shem Hashem ekro. So even if it's sar v'yagan, even if it's sorrows and anguish, still I still call the name of Hashem. Still Hashem Ekram. Rabbanan Amri Hacha Hashem Nosan Hashem Lokach Yehi Shem Hashem Mevarach. Whether Hashem gives, whether Hashem takes away, we praise Hashem. Yehi Shem Hashem Mevarach. Amar Rav Huna Amar Rav Mishum Rabbi Meir V'chein Tana Mishmei Rabbi Akiva Le'olam Yeyadam Ragil Oimar. A person should always be accustomed to say, Kol David Rachman L'Tavavi. Whatever the Rebbeinu Shalom does, whatever he gives us, it's for the best. It's like the following Maisa. Kihad Rabbi Akiva Dehava Kavazal B'Urcha. He was traveling on a road. Matalahi Masi came to a city. Boish B'Ziv V'Lo. He was looking for a place to stay. Someone would take him in, and he couldn't find an inn, he couldn't find a place to stay. Omar called David Rahman al-Tov. He said, whatever Hashem does is for the best. I have no place to sleep, I have no place to stay, it's for the best. So, what did he do? Therefore, Ozal Ubaz Bedavra. He went and he slept in the field. So he was boss, and he slept in the field. He had with him in the field, he had a tarnagol, a rooster, and a donkey, and a candle. Also, Zika, a wind came, a wind came and blew out the candle. Also, Shunra, achal tarnagol, a cat came and ate the rooster. Also, a lion came and ate the donkey. Omar, even though he had all of these mishaps, he had all these terrible things, he was out in the field, and whatever he had, all the things that he had were destroyed or taken away. Nevertheless, he said, Omar called David Rahman al-Tov. Whatever Rahman does, Hashem does, it's for the best. It's for the best. He will become with Simcha. That night, then there were an army came and it captured the city. Now, if he had been in the city, he would have been captured. He was out in the field, and he was saved. Didn't I tell you that whatever the Rabbanu Shalom does is Hakol Taiva? If he was in the city, he would have been captured. If he was out in the field and there would be a candle, they would have seen it. There were roosters, they would have heard it. The donkey would have brayed, and they would have heard of it, and they would have been found. This way, he was safe. Kol man davar Rahman al Taiv. V'amarav Huna mishum Amaruna Rav Mishum Rav Meir la'olam yudvarav shalom muatul lifnei Kodesh Baruch Hu. A person should have few words in front of Hashem. Whatever happens, there's never complaining, there's never tainas. There should be muatim. שנאמר אל תבל על פיך ולבך אל ימהר להוציא דבר לפני אלוקים כי אלוקים בשמיים ואתה על הארץ ועל כן יהיו דבריך מועטים. Don't speak quickly, don't say many words. Hashem is in Shemaim, He knows and we don't know. We accept a call with whatever Hashem does and gives us, we accept it b'simcha.